everyone. Welcome to Grab the Irons. I'm Chris. This is Eric. We're sitting here with PhD Larry Zuccolotto. And me and him have been talking for the last, 4 or 5 months, quite a bit.
Yeah.
Just you've been helping some people out at our work. And we're happy to have you on here. Thank you for coming in, first of all. And kind of what we're going to talk about today is what he's really an expert in is like hormone therapy and why do firefighters and cops and why are we deficient in certain hormones? Are we the same as everybody else in America? Are we different? So we're going to discuss that topic today. He's a whiz at it. So first of all, let's have you introduce yourself, who you are, and your why and why you are doing what you are today.
YM, huh? Thank you again. Thank you guys for having me on. I appreciate it. And as I mentioned, thank you as first responders for all that you do. It's great for us to have you out there.
It's our
So
pleasure. It
you
is.
do a lot. Um, YM. Let's see. I have been doing hormone replacement therapy for, well, started in 95, opened my first clinic in 1996. So I've been doing it for a long time. I've worked with many different aspects of hormone replacement therapy and from a patient base. I've dealt with the entertainment industry, which has their own subset of reasons why their hormones are the way they are. I've worked with first responders. I've worked with pre and postmenopausal women. Hormones get affected by a number of different things. And as time has gone on, and over the last 35 years of doing this, I constantly am seeing new things and I'm constantly exploring new ways to be the best at delivering hormone replacement therapy as you can possibly, or as I can possibly be. It's unusual hormone replacement therapy because it's really unlike any other Western medicine. That's why so few physicians really like to dip into it or get involved into it. Hormone replacement therapy is not a one shoe fits all. There are different circumstances, and each person has their own individual, if you will, metabolic rate and set that also plays a role in determining the hormone levels. I've mentioned a number of times you can have a 300-pound linebacker that requires less testosterone than a 95-pound jockey, just the way that they metabolize. Our philosophies here and what I've been doing for many, many years is first and foremost realizing that nobody knows your body better than you do. So when we talk about hormone replacement, or if we're going to get involved in hormone replacement or testosterone replacement, whether it be a first responder, an entertainer, a pre-postmenopausal woman, or someone that's taking a type of medication that is affecting their hormones, all of those things play into effect of how you have to go about treating an individual. You asked the question about why first responders have the hormonal issues that they do. You know,
Mm-hmm.
you guys, first responders, you're a unique breed. I kind of look at you like a bull rider. You know, a guy doesn't become a bull rider going, I'm never going to get gored. I'm never going to get bucked off. I'm never going to get stomped on. They just don't do that. And a good first responder, the one that makes it through, it's a unique individual. You're wired differently. And as such, that is another factor that has to be taken into play when you're dealing with hormone replacement because you're not a CPA. If you go to a hormone replacement doctor, let's say, uh, they're going to treat you alike. I don't look at it the same way. With a first responder, you have different aspects of your life and your job that create these bumps in the road, if you will, for hormone. So if a CBA comes in that's sitting behind a desk that doesn't have the levels of stress, etc., but he has low testosterone, yeah, you can treat that, but it's not going to be the same for you guys. And in fact, even over the years with first responders, I have learned a number of different things about what's the best course of treatment for each individual, because how I would treat you versus how I would treat the CPA is going to be a little bit differently, depending
That makes
upon their
sense.
hormones. Yeah.
Yeah.
So first and foremost, what happens is, as a firefighter, similar to the entertainment industry, when you go on scene, you get a rush of adrenaline. Then when you come off scene, what happens is the body naturally produces a tremendous amount of cortisol to push that adrenaline back down.
Mm-hmm.
We know clinically from years of this happening to you, it disrupts the hormonal process. Now, it's a little bit differently for each one. Some very extreme, others maybe not as extreme. I seem to find that those that are in a more intense area versus a rural area has a tendency to have a little bit more impact or effect on them. So,
Well, because they're constantly getting bombarded
yeah,
every
oh
single
yeah,
day. To where rural,
yeah,
it's maybe
That,
yeah,
once a month.
right,
yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
right,
curious
right,
if
that
right.
makes
it's
sense.
the city firefighter that's running 20 calls a day, right? It's just constant boom, boom, boom. They could get used to it to an extent, but there's still that cortisol that's spiking after each call. It might get, more adaptive after a while, but the rural guy still gets that cortisol, but it's bigger rush because
Correct.
the frequency of calls are a lot different. But it's still a rush for them, right?
Correct, correct. It's also each individual person. We can have two firefighters in the same station, and one will have an impact much greater than the other, let's say on
Mm-hmm.
their levels of testosterone, their estrogen. I see these spikes in estrogen with you guys that are just, it's crazy. Some of the levels of estrogen that I've seen through these constant repetitive adrenal cortisol. And that's something that also that really needs to be addressed. It's not so much even just the testosterone, it's these estrogen levels. What are they doing to you? So and it's also, I in the ideal perfect world with you guys, again, knowing what I've known now, and you got to remember, I go back 35 years where we had like three meds that we used when it came to treating, hormone replacement, and most of it was used with women, and one of them was actually killing them. It was a drug called Premarin that they were using way, way, way back when. And that was for most women that were either postmenopausal or had a complete hysterectomy. But so we've come a long way. In the perfect world for the firefighter, depending upon their locale and the amount of time that they're out doing these, adrenaline rush, cortisol push, the ideal treatment would really be to microdose daily.
Mm.
That's my opinion.
Kind
The
of mimic the natural flow of your testosterone, where instead of having these giant spikes and then the low afterwards, that like you can basically mimic the natural rhythm of your testosterone that's supposed to be going on.
Is
that
that
would be ideal in
is
the
that only
perfect
if you're
world.
deficient already, or is that just any fireman just kind of doing low dose
No, I
testosterone?
wouldn't. Some of these younger guys, unfortunately, the answer is no, only if you're deficient.
Yeah.
I would
Okay.
Yeah, for
not do
sure.
it
That
if
makes
you're not
sense.
deficient.
If you're doing
Yeah.
fine,
Um,
keep going. Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah, yeah. The problem is it will catch up. It's an inevitable thing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, to what level I can't tell you, but it is inevitable that, the mark I see is typically right around year 7 to 10, where there's the big number hit, if you will, or the
Yeah.
reduction. And then you go past
That's where I'm
that.
at. 10.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
I'm
Yep.
a
it
year
just,
away.
what
Yeah.
was that?
I'm a year away from what you're saying. 10 years in the
Well,
fire
10
service.
years at Eldorado Hills. I'm 17 years total, but a lot of
Yeah,
it was
yeah,
seasonal work and stuff. So,
yeah.
Yeah. So it's ideal to do it that way, but it's not practical.
Sure.
Most, I mean, even if you did it twice a week would probably be better. But see, here's the complication with you guys. Here's what happens. Let's say that you are on testosterone replacement. And every Monday you give yourself an injection, and then come around Monday you give it. Well, naturally what's going to happen is you're going to do the testosterone injection, your testosterone levels are going to spike up, and then right around Friday, Saturday, Sunday, they're going to start dropping down. Now, that's to the CPA. With the firefighter, you have something that's going to disrupt it. You did your shot on Monday. Now let's say you have one heck of a on time where you're constantly adrenaline, cortisol, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Well, you're gonna suck the life out of that testosterone pretty much, you know.
Sure.
So is that course of treatment the ideal course of treatment for you? Well, it's something. It's better. Now,
Better
if
than nothing.
if you're retired and you're not doing that anymore, we would look at that a little bit differently. So
Yep.
if you're
Makes sense.
still doing it and you still have those low levels, and I've seen this, I've been doing this for a long time. I couldn't tell you how many first responders of all walks of life, from, I mean, you name it, from SWAT to sheriff to police to rangers to you, it goes on and on and on and on.
Mm-hmm.
And it's, while you're on, it's much tougher. Once you retire, it's a little bit easier to manage because you're not having those constant pulses, if you will.
Yeah.
Well, life's
So-
more predictable once you're retired, right? So every time we go to work, there's the unpredictability is insane.
Yep.
Right.
We have no
right,
idea. Middle of the
exactly.
night, right? We're going to
That's the problem.
cold start, going
Yeah.
into a burning building. Like we don't know. And that's a huge adrenaline dump right there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So the ideal situation, and this is what I've been working on for about the last 10 years, and not just for the firefighters, but the entertainment industry and certain medications that that create a similar effect. The difference is with the medication, if you stop them, usually within a year or so, your hormone levels will return, but most men don't like stopping those medications that they're taking.
Mm-hmm.
Versus the firefighters, unfortunately, once it hits, there isn't much you can do to reverse it. You can help it a little bit, but I personally, again, I personally have not seen anybody that's been able to, over a period of time, after 15 years and then retire 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years later, because I've got guys that have been with me that long that still can't get their levels back up, even though they're active, working out and doing different things like that.
Well,
So,
I mean, that makes sense, right? Because we have something that we can't avoid, right? That's
right.
going to work and not sleeping and, going from 0 to 100, a couple times, at least 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 times a week, right? Or up to 40 times a week if you work for city. So,
Yeah. And you think of like general
unavoidable.
public, you talk to accountants, like how many times has their adrenaline spike?
No.
Right.
Man, I just did these taxes. Oh, man.
Oh my Lord.
Wow.
Yeah.
And we need, it's a great job.
I know it is.
We need
Yeah.
accountant. We're not
My
knocking
best
on
friend
no,
Angelo
there's-
is an accountant.
It's it's a different work life, right? It's so different.
It's a life you choose. That's really
Sure.
the
Yeah.
bottom line, and there's
Way to
nothing wrong with
provide.
it. Again, like I said, it takes a certain individual. I don't believe that you can make a true firefighter. I don't believe that you can take somebody who mentally is not there and turn them into a firefighter like you two that have spent the amount of time on the job. I think, and I'm sure you know this, you probably have a fallout from young men coming in that think they want to do it, and then 2 years into the gig, they're like, "Oh no, this is not for me."
Mm-hmm.
So there's nothing wrong with that. I mean,
No.
it's why we've got Baskin Robbins in 31 flavors.
Yeah.
Not everybody likes vanilla.
Right.
So, but with all of that said, okay, we know the situation. So what can I do? What can I do to help prevent, minimize those effects? Because as you guys know, the suicide rate and the alcoholism rate is much higher in the first responders than it is in CPAs and life insurance salesmen.
Yeah, over double.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well over double.
So my goal, like when I set out to get pap smears and mammograms approved as a well care in the state of California, is okay, what can we do for you guys? What
Hmm.
can we do to help minimize that so that you get what a life that you deserve from all of the time that you've served helping the rest of the country? That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
So
So,
is that something that, like that you need to start from day one, right? Basically, the first day you get the job is like you do have to start managing, because it
Well,
doesn't
yeah,
matter if you're 20, if you're 40, that you're still, the bill's still going off, right? And then slowly it's gonna hit them, and then they're gonna end up like me when I'm 43, right?
so
So,
yeah,
which isn't terrible, but like, is there a way to minimize that when they're younger?
right.
well, I believe there is. I've been working on something that I think will help. Um, I also believe that what I put together is going to help smooth out the firefighter that is still working because it's a buffer that you use to, or a stabilizer that you use in conjunction with the testosterone. Let's use the young guy first. You know, if you've had a heart attack, they typically suggest as a preventative, to put a little baby aspirin, a little
Yeah,
supplement under your
Yeah.
absolutely.
tongue. Yeah,
Yep.
okay.
Yeah.
So, why? It's because we know that it helps with the blood thinners, thinning the blood, et cetera, et cetera. Um, so it's a preventative thing that we know will work. Doesn't work all the time, but it's a good thing to do.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's
I
better than not
think
doing nothing.
yeah, I think the same thing with the young guys starting out. I think that, okay, if we can give something that is is able to stabilize starting out and minimize that impact. It's kind of like, let's go back to that bull rider. You know, 20 years ago, none of them wore vests. They never
Sure.
wore
Hmm.
a Kevlar vest.
Hmm.
Now, most of them go out with a helmet, a cage, and a Kevlar vest on. So,
Makes sense.
what I want to do is, okay, what can we do to be proactive, not reactive, to provide something that could be a protective thing, not only just for the hormone levels, but also for the immune system, that because you guys are bombarded with contaminants day in and
All the
day out.
time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that's another issue, the cancers and things like that. So that was my goal. My goal was to set out to do that. Now, I didn't originally set out to do that just with the firefighters. It was when you see things, who I am and how I do what I do and evaluate things. I'm constantly learning. I'm constantly going, okay, that doesn't fit here. And I think this is the background of a lot of PhDs. As a doctorate in biological science, I want to know why. Okay, we fixed that, but how can we fix it better? Now, how can we even make it better instead of just medicating a particular condition,
Just
like
band-aids.
Western medicine does?
Yeah.
Makes a
So
lot of
that's
money.
yeah, and that's where I'm going down this. And to be honest, it's not just for the first responders, but I
Sure.
have a very big heart for the first responders. There's several other spaces where these things are affected. Now, this all plays a role in this conversation because if you do high levels of THC, you will have a similar hormonal reaction that you guys have. It raises the estrogen, lowers the sperm count, lowers the
Yep.
testosterone.
I've heard that weed
That's
does that.
THC.
Yep.
Okay.
Shit.
If you, well, let me tell you about the buckets. This is what I'm getting at. Okay.
Yeah.
So if
Oh
you
no.
take a hair loss medication, let's say that, the finasteride, Propecia, dutasteride, if you take a hair loss medication, what's going to happen is the exact same thing. It's
Yeah.
going to lower your sperm count. It's going to raise your estrogen. It's going to lower your free testosterone. So my goal was, how can, the guys aren't going to stop taking it. And some of these guys are 19 years old that are taking this hair loss medication.
Really?
And
Yeah.
they don't,
shit.
oh yeah. And they're like, you know what what their hormone basis is going to be
Oh,
like?
it's gonna be garbage.
Oh, no.
It's gonna be in the tank.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's gonna be terrible. So here's my point. If you're a firefighter taking hair loss medication and eating
Smoking weed.
THC, yeah,
You're
you got
screwed.
the bucket
God
full.
damn it. I am fucked.
Yeah.
I mean, look how thin it's getting. What am I supposed to do?
I mean, yeah, he's sitting right here.
No. It's yeah, you know,
The
so,
gummy's hitting right now, too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what my objective was. That was my objective because, yeah, I can put you on testosterone once you retire, and we could do a good job of balancing those things out. But, you know, we've got to constantly find ways. And you guys know this. You've been in 17, 15 years, okay? The equipment that you use, the training that you did 15 years ago when you started is totally different and revised from what you do now.
Yep,
And,
absolutely.
And there's more of it.
But you know what hasn't changed is what and how they address your health. They've got a little bit more mental health, but I don't, at least from what I've seen. Now, I'm talking about hormonal health.
Yeah,
we're getting there. We're trying.
The standard for us is a really basic blood panel that doesn't even have testosterone. So we do the yearly medical, and it is
changing though.
For us, it is changing, but a lot of departments it's not. Right?
No.
It's just the standard. Like, okay, let's check your vision, let's check your hearing. Here's really
sodium,
basic.
Potassium,
like cholesterol. Cholesterol is too
like
high.
5 things they test for.
Yeah, it's kind of a joke. And it's like, okay, so what? You know, I'm not learning really much from this. They don't explain any of it to you anyways.
No.
So you get all these numbers back, and they're within their normal ranges, which is it's specific to them. Yeah. Right. That's not optimal. Yeah. That's within normal ranges. So we don't need to treat yet.
Yeah.
Correct. And it's sad too, because, you know, in general, treatable testosterone or TRT for men is considered below 247. That's ridiculous.
That's insane.
Absolute. Yeah,
you are suffering. You are suffering at that number.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. It's crazy. But again, Western medicine puts parameters on it, and hey, if you're in between this and this, you're normal. You know?
Why do they keep it so low? You think they'd want to raise it so they can sell more testosterone, right? Down. Or is it? Do they make money off other stuff?
No,
instead of testosterone?
That number has been that way. Actually, I'll tell you what's changed. The bottom number hasn't changed in 35 years. The top number has.
Oh, gotcha.
We used to go all the way up to 1350. But I will tell you, over the last 35 years, the levels of testosterone and the ages of the men that I've treated have all come down. And it's environmental. There's a number of factors.
The pussification of man.
Well, yeah. I think like lack of sunlight, the fact that our food is the way it is, the lack of activity, like sitting is the new smoking, right? And then there's a tremendous amount of jobs that you can be at your house all
we just
day.
Talked about this.
You don't need to go outside.
You don't have to leave your house.
You don't have to leave your house. Everything's comfortable. There's no hot. There's no cold anymore. The stressors have all been taken away that are actually so beneficial. You know, the hormetic effect of what these stressors are for you.
Hunting and gathering.
Lifting heavy, and just
finding salt, finding meat, finding water. Yeah.
So those have all been taken away in our society, and it's just the comfort and the convenience has, in my opinion, is an epidemic.
I agree with you completely. You know, get the kids out, take the phone away.
Yes.
Run them around. You know, we have so much high instance of children being treated for ADD, ADHD, young boys, that is, in my opinion, is absolutely ridiculous. Take them out. Let them roll around. Let them be boys. Let them hang on trees. You know, that's life. You know, I see a lot of different things on Facebook. You know, it's about when I was in elementary school, at least 3 kids had casts on all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
I was one of them.
Everyone was messed
That was
up.
me.
Bumps and bruises. Dude, I mean, I played football when I was 8, 9 years old, and I would go to school and I have bruises all over me. And like teachers like, are you okay?
Hey, can we
Yeah.
talk, man?
I was like, yeah, my mom,
where's your
she's
dad at?"
mean. She's a mean lady.
My mom.
Yeah. Yeah. And then she beats up my dad too.
Yeah.
She see my dad. No, it's
So,
like,
yeah,
it's crazy.
all of that playing a role in this epidemic that I'm seeing
Sure.
Yeah.
as we move forward, demasculating men.
Yeah.
What's it going to look like in
Anyway,
20 years?
I can go on and on and on
Yeah.
and on and on about that, but to back it back up, it's imperative, in my opinion, that this aspect of a first responder's long-term treatment be addressed. That's
Sure.
my opinion. I'm hoping maybe with the new administration, and I'm not trying to be political here, but you see the movement, and in fact,
Maha.
Maha,
Bobby's,
baby.
yeah, there you
Let's
go.
go.
Bobby is big time for testosterone replacement, growth
Yeah.
hormone, all of which I'm very open about. I started on growth hormone and testosterone back when I was 38 because my levels were low, and I will be 67 on October 4th.
How
So
taboo was that when you first started doing it? Like, I know you were prescribing it back then, but like 38 years ago, it was like testosterone was for Arnold, and it was for these bodybuilders.
Steroids.
Very, very
It
misunderstood.
was steroids.
I have to tell you a little story. So back in the day, and I'm trying to remember what year it was in. I want to say it was in the early 80s. Maybe the mid 80s. Anyway, I worked with a dermatologist, and we were commissioned to look at. Remember because I'm old. What was it in the 70s? The big bodybuilding. Remember, everybody wanted to be a bodybuilder.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And there was all
that
the
was the
steroids.
golden
Muscle
era.
Beach and stuff.
Yeah.
Gold Beach.
Yeah.
Gold Gym.
The Schwarzenegger. The Venice Beach and all that. Yeah. And the kids were getting into it. So they said, well, listen, we want you to do a study on how bad are steroids, and especially for young men. What damages do they occur?
Sure.
Well, we came back and it was, well, they're really not as bad as we thought they were. They're really, in clinical doses. Now, does that mean a 16,
Not
17,
super
18
doses.
years? No, they should not be doing it. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But is it going to kill them? No. And it was shut down because the answer that they got wasn't what they wanted.
Sure.
And that kind of leads all back around to everything that I'm talking about is that, and you asked, why is it the way that it is? Testosterone replacement is just it's not looked on as a necessary need. It's just not. Men age, men get old, men die. That's the way it's supposed to be. I'm 67 years old, and
Damn,
I'll
those
train
guns.
I'll train with any 20-year-old. Okay?
Jacked.
Yeah, you look great. You look fantastic.
I appreciate it. But I work hard at it. Yes, I do growth hormone. Yes, I do testosterone. But I will tell you this.
Still put work in the gym.
Yeah, my mom and dad are still happily married. I'm going on 48 years with my wife, and we've got a great marriage. And I attribute a lot of that to maybe me and my DNA, but also having hormone replacement. My mother and father, my dad's going to be 88 or 89 this year. I've had both of them on testosterone and growth hormone for like 25 years.
Wow.
They're still both very active. My father rides a stationary bike between 12 and 16 miles every day.
Damn.
Now he has some cardiovascular issues. He's AFib, and even the cardiologist says, "Look, you need to be doing the testosterone. That's good for your heart." Because I've worked with different cardiologists on this. So it is. It's a good question. Why? Why don't we look at it as a mainstream?
It's so weird because everybody tells you, like, when you get on testosterone for the longest time, is that it's going to mess with your heart. It's not good for your heart. It's going to increase your blood pressure. It's going to cause myocarditis, like
Yeah.
all this shit that you hear, right? And it's, I mean,
Find
that's
me
what I've heard.
one clinical study that points to that. Find me one. You
Well, they were
can't.
using it
There-
even in like cancer patients, right? I mean, like some
Yeah.
people have been, prescribed testosterone to like combat some of the things that come along with cancer in the
Oh yeah,
and
definitely.
chemo and everything. So it's like
Yeah.
there's a lot to this, and I mean, even like you said with your marriage, has an impact on your mood, right? It's
Yeah.
like they're saying another like low testosterone has a correlation with depression, right? So like if you've got
and the estrogen. Let me tell you what, high levels of estrogen, I think, are the biggest culprit between a lot of the suicides and the alcoholism. Not so much the low, to be honest with you, not so much the low testosterone,
Huh.
but
the
the
high
high
levels of
estrogen, huh?
yeah,
Very
it
interesting.
really is. It really does. It causes that brain fog and everything else. Yeah, it does need to be addressed. I don't, you asked me the question about testosterone. Ironically, in the 90s, testosterone wasn't frowned upon as much as growth hormone was. Growth hormone was the big taboo. Now it's switched, it's flipped, or well, now that they're wide open to both over the
Yeah.
last few years. But you asked about does it affect different people? Do you know that every HIV patient in America is offered and prescribed testosterone and growth hormone because that helps keep them alive? They have
No
a
shit.
severe immune system breakdown.
Compromise,
The
yeah.
only thing that helps them is the growth hormone and the testosterone, the steroids.
Makes sense.
So, and I will tell you, over the course of the 35 years, I've treated a number of individuals with immune system disorders, from Lyme's disease to fibromyalgia to a number of different ones. Sorry.
Why so taboo then? Why has it been so taboo for testosterone that I can remember in my lifetime, right? Like, was it because of amounts that people were taking, like your
I think it's the
WWF
super
wrestlers?
dose. Yeah, it's like Hulk Hogan, Macho Man Randy Savage, and so like you
Is that
see
what put
these
the
guys.
negative connotation on it?
Yeah, I mean, I think you have like the bodybuilders and all that stuff, and like they're using these super doses, right? So
Yeah.
you got like Deca and like Tren and all these things that they're using on top of testosterone, and so that just gets lumped into that. And then these guys did die of some cardiac event or some cancer, but because
high doses.
Well, it's another thing. Their muscles were so ginormous, right? They built this huge frame that their heart couldn't keep up with it. The heart was overtaxed. Like
that makes sense.
the amount of blood to be pushed into like Ronnie Coleman. Well, Ronnie Coleman's still alive, but like a few of these guys.
Hulk.
Yeah.
Rest in peace.
Yeah. Like you tax that heart so much to have that much muscle mass all the time, and then their lifestyle typically wasn't the best either.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So
I would agree with you on that. And, it comes back to, the simple principle that, an aspirin a day is good for you. If you take the whole bottle, it'll kill you.
Oh, absolutely. Sure. The dose is the poison, right?
Yeah. So, I have my opinion on a number of different things in the political arena that kill people, but it is, they want to classify, you have one knucklehead that's roided out, that beats on his girlfriend or wife, and now all steroids are bad and testosterone's bad because you're going to become a lunatic and
roid rage.
Yeah, and beat up. That's not true. You're probably, from what I've seen, and I've dealt with bodybuilders, professional, athletes that have used them in normal doses, like myself. I've been doing it for 30 years. I mean, I couldn't tell you the last time I even had a speeding ticket. So, it's been 20 years. It's just, if you start out as a jerk and you're going to do a lot of steroids, you're probably going to become a bigger jerk.
Yeah.
But if you don't start out as a jerk, it's not going to turn you into a jerk. That's just from what I've seen.
It's not Jekyll and Hyde type deal, right?
No.
But I mean, it's been used for like the low dose of it. It's been used for, like you said, for like AIDS and other diseases. Like, so why hasn't this been something that, I mean, because the TRT replacement is just exploding right now, right? So why wasn't it exploding in, the 90s, right? Like it is today? Or was it? And we're unaware of
No,
it.
it wasn't. It wasn't. It really wasn't. I think that it got a bad rap because of the steroid use during that period of time.
Yeah.
Prior to that, in the 60s and 70s, you didn't hear of men taking testosterone. But go back and look at pictures in the 60s and 70s on the beach, in general, what the men and women looked like back then.
Mm-hmm.
You did not have the obesity that you have today.
No, not even
Exactly.
The
close.
children back then, it's like myself, if I wanted to go see my friend that lived 5 blocks away from me and it was all downhill getting there, but all uphill coming back,
Right.
I
Rode your
rode my
bike.
bike.
Your
Yeah. And if I
single
got
gear
there,
bike.
yeah, and I got there and he was gone, man, you're on that bike and you're pedaling
Heading
back
home.
home.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's so true.
So,
Yeah.
why? I just think what happened is maybe that curve of the bodybuilders maybe gave it a bad rap, and then I will tell you this, and I know you guys know this, there's a lot of things that are driven by the medical system to not promote longevity.
Mm-hmm.
I
Sick
was in a
person is
meeting.
yeah.
I
get it.
was in a meeting with a group of senators, and I was told again, and I came home and I told my wife this again back in the 80s when I was proposing some stuff. I worked in legislation for healthcare, and I was told, Larry, we can't afford to keep people longer. You know what kind of financial impact that would be on us? Now, guys, this is back in the 80s.
Yeah, I can't imagine what you're talking about
So,
now.
yeah, I mean, so anyway, I don't want to get down any type of crazy line, but that's what I'm here for. That's why
Yeah.
I'm doing what I'm doing for you guys, is because I think there is a great need for it. And it's like I said, I developed a particular product that I think is going to be a game changer, in this particular space, because it does bridge that gap for those various fields that I talked about to stabilize and to protect.
It's kind of like
Mhm.
maintenance, right? So if you go
Yeah.
into it and then but you also said something that really resonates with me and I like to use it quite a bit, is being proactive and not reactive, right?
Right.
Being ahead of it, because you see it all the time. This country is typically reactive. They're never trying to like get ahead of the curve, and then a pendulum swings one way or the other, and then we're always in trouble.
Yeah.
And that happens in so many different fields of people just
Correct.
not having the foresight to be like, how can we get ahead of this instead of waiting until the crash happens and
Western
then we're
medicine.
cleaning this shit up.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, that's Western medicine.
Yeah.
You wait
Until you're
until the
sick.
condition. Yeah. And then you either medicate or extract,
Yeah.
that's,
here's a pillar,
Yeah.
we'll cut it out.
Yeah. I mean, I was watching Bobby Kennedy the other day, and he was mentioning that they want to change the medical degrees because you're not taught about vitamins, supplements,
Nutrition.
longevity. It's about when they get to this point, we react. Don't
Right.
be proactive. Let's react.
Mhm.
And you are correct, guys. You are very correct. I mean, you take preventative measures now. When you go into a burning building, you have protective stuff that you do.
Yeah.
You
Right.
do that to protect yourself. You're being proactive, not just blindly jumping in. And I think that your health care should be looked at the same way. I
Mhm.
believe that in these occupations where these adrenaline and cortisol changes occur, that, you know, we need to take care of you. It's going to be like, like right now the military is back and is getting stronger. But under
Mhm.
the prior administration, with all of the loosey goosey that was going on, the young
Yeah.
men didn't want to. They didn't want to.
No.
They didn't want to go for it.
I
Right
get it.
now, I know our numbers are all the way up, and but we got to take care of them. We got to take care of those soldiers when they come home.
That's
You
the
know?
problem, right?
Yeah.
And I hope that's solved, right? I hope we're fixing that,
I
because
hope so too.
when those
I hope
guys
so
come
too.
home, I was talking to my buddy that was in the military, and he was in. I mean, I'm 43, so he went in July of 2001. September 11th hit, a couple months later. So he was in it through the bad times, and he has talks that kids are coming home right now, and like, granted, they don't see a lot of actually, war zone action, but they're still gone when they're 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. And those are like the best years of your life. So like, just that mental anguish that they have to go through being deployed, being away from their friends and family, I mean, that's got to just tear you up, right?
Well,
I mean,
it's like us too. Like, say we don't even run a call and we're at work.
Yeah.
You're still at work.
Yeah.
There's always that potential. And even if they're at the war, they're still on guard all the time. Like, they're in that sympathetic, right? So this, like you said, there's still adrenaline that's going on there. It's not a relaxing area or time.
No.
Yeah.
Like, the wife was like, "Oh, you slept last night," and I was like, terribly, like, still not great, right? Because I'm like, any sound that goes off, I'm like, was that the tones?
The damn
light
AC
going
that
on?
turns on, it
The
clicks.
AC clicks and it sounds
clicks.
just like the
It's like the
tones opening
speaker.
up. So
Gosh.
it's like, yeah, we're still in this environment. Like, you've put us in here. We have our uniform on. As soon as we have our uniform on, we have a different mindset. And it's different. You're ready. It is naturally in a fight or flight mentality, because that's how you have to respond to these things.
Right. And I agree with you completely. It's like I said, there's unfortunate element of that lifestyle or occupation, and that is it's one of the occupational hazards.
Absolutely.
Of the hormonal. But I don't think it should have to be as bad as it is, number one. And I'm happy to help, whoever. I can tell you, again, here's another sad part with your occupation. I have talked to, over the years, many individuals that come to me because they were getting it black market, not getting blood work done, not really knowing how to do it.
Oh,
I mean, a high percentage of you guys, you need it, you require it, but you're afraid of the ramifications. Well, what we do here is 100% by the book, and it's sad that that, or you feel that you require it. I know you need it, but it's in a position to where you have to go behind closed doors, if you will, or however you want to say it, to get it done. And that's not right either. You shouldn't have to do that. You should have a safe place to come to where you can get treated and monitored, and it shouldn't be off the charts expensive. We don't do that. It should be total. I mean, geez, if I could afford to give it away to you guys, I'd do it, type thing,
because you just knows what it can do and how it can change people's lives.
The GH, the growth hormone, like, nobody can afford that stuff. Like,
that stuff is crazy.
Oh, man, I tell you,
it's gone up astronomically.
Here's another avenue.
Well, peptides.
Peptides are great. Yeah.
So I was going to say,
they're expensive too.
Ipamorelin is pretty cheap to do.
Not really. Not. They're affordable. I could talk about the growth and the peptides real quick. When I started in the hormone replacement in the 90s, mid 90s, growth hormone was like $32 a vial.
What?
Now,
a vial?
What?
A vial. That if you were doing 2 vials a month, that was $64 a month. That's what it was costing. But that was somatropin. That was the generic.
Sure.
Well, the pharmaceutical industry got a hold of that. Now, mind you, it went from the 90s until, how long has it been? Maybe 2000, maybe 1999. So it went many years, but so many people were going and moving towards it that the pharmaceutical companies came in and they said, nope, you can't do generic anymore because you don't have any clinical data to support just the generic version. So
It's
unless
always them.
it's,
They ruin
yeah,
everything.
yeah, same thing they did with the peptides. The administration
Yeah.
came back and said, look, they're on the no compound. The reason
Yeah.
why is
Yeah.
because the pharmaceutical one, they're not even a medication. So it's really basically a group of amino acids and other things, maybe B12 or, other things that are built into it.
Mhm.
But they couldn't do it. They can't control it. So shut it down.
Mm.
There's no evidence for it. I
Can't
can
make
tell you,
profit, so
Sons
yeah,
of
I
bitches.
mean,
it's like
I do.
ivermectin.
Yeah, exactly. I
It's
do.
dirt cheap.
Don't get him
Yeah.
started about
Yeah,
that.
yeah. We won't open up that can of worms, but
We've talked
Oh,
about
yeah.
that.
but
We had a good passionate conversation about that a couple months
so
ago. Yeah.
and so it is. It's always, you have to be your own advocate. You have to do your own research, and like it's kind of a travesty that
But here's the problem, though, Chris. Let me tell you about the problem. You have to do your own. What research? Everything that you point to, it's gonna, like you said, it's going to give you a heart attack. It's going to give you blood
Oh,
clots.
sure.
It's
Yeah.
going to,
Yeah. Right.
Right.
So how can you do real research? How can you really get to the bottom of it? And you shouldn't have
Talk to
to.
people
That's the
like
whole
you.
point.
Well, this
Yeah,
day and
Talk to
you
age.
people
should. Yeah,
like you. I've
you
been
shouldn't
doing it.
have to do that.
You're living. You're
Well-
living proof. Your dad's living proof. He's 89
Yeah.
and he's riding his bike 12 miles a day.
Yeah,
Like
proof in the
who does
pudding
that?
at that point. But also, it is kind of a sad time that we live in, that you can't trust anything that your eyes look at,
Yeah.
and it's
I
scary.
know that, man. Yeah.
That's the tough thing, where even looking at diet, right? If we're even going to go down the diet realm, how many
Fruit Loops are
tribes?
healthy,
How
bro.
many tribes are there for just nutrition alone? The vegans, the carnivores,
Yeah.
the paleos, the
Yeah, right.
keto. and
Mine's best.
One
Oh,
will say
mine
this
is-
is good, one will say that, and then you could do the peptide crew or the HGH, and like
Yeah.
everyone's going to say different things, conflicting. So you're like, how do I weed through all this bullshit
Yeah.
and find out what's actually real and that can move the needle for me?
Unfortunately, in this medical space, it really is a tough one. And
Mm.
I will tell you, I've been doing this for many, many, many years. And I have seen some physicians that make horrible decisions towards both men and women. I'm appalled at what they do, more so for the buck than anything else,
Yeah.
And it's gotten a bad rap. Hey, that's the bottom line. It's gotten a bad rap. But it's there are a number of guys out there that are really good,
Mm-hmm.
and that I work with them. I can tell you a whole bunch of docs that I work with that we all are like-minded, and we
Cool.
think the same way. So it's not just me. There are a number of them out there, but it's like in any industry, you have those that are doing it for the wrong reason.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care whether it's the bad cop or whether it's the bad doctor.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
There are always those that are out there. So when you say we have to be proactive and do our own research, that's the problem, guys. I wish you had the research. I wish you had the real information,
Yeah.
to do what you do, what you need to do. I mean, you should have it available. So
That's kind of why we're doing this, right? We're trying to
Yeah.
get in because we're trying to learn too, like selfishly, like
we want to cut through the bullshit and then
Yeah.
try to get the most usable information out there for our brothers and sisters out there.
yeah. Hopefully somebody's
Right.
listening to you talk
That-
that's on the edge right now, like, oh crap, I know I need it. Should I take it? I heard it's bad for my heart, and then they hear this, and maybe it changes their life, right?
So
right.
if looking back, do you think the low entry stuff to change or maintain your hormones at an early age, say that you had the knowledge you have now, and you started at like 25, if you could do something, do you think that would change the trajectory of when you would use hormone replacement therapy at all? You think that you have some strategies and tactics that could have maybe pushed it off a little bit longer?
I wish I could tell you 100% positive that yes, I have the answer. Yes, you should.
Yeah.
Here's what I can tell you. It's like the baby aspirin, but it's also like you guys run drills
Mm-hmm.
because the more drills that you run, the better you are at doing what you do, the less likelihood of making a mistake,
Sure.
and the more efficient that you can become.
Mm-hmm.
So, and you mentioned like all of these different diets. If you could take a 25-year-old, but again, they're different mentalities, different personalities. But I do believe that if you are proactive at the onset of an occupation like yours, where we know what the outcome is going to be, and you can take something that's good for you, that's
Mm-hmm.
healthy for you, that's not going to disrupt your hormones naturally producing,
Yeah.
then the answer is yes. Why
Mm.
would you not? Why
No,
would you not
absolutely.
do that? So at 25, I mean, I know a lot of these guys, I mean, because of the shape that you need to be in, you're taking protein powders, creatine, you're taking various pre-workout,
This
post-workout,
standard.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Why? Why are you doing that? Because, everybody has said that it's going to help me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Get a little extra edge, right?
Yeah,
Whey
but
protein, all that
yeah,
stuff. Creatine's supposed to help with the recovery and strength.
exactly,
Cognitive
exactly.
abilities. Yeah.
Yep.
So you already doing it to a certain extent, but think about it. That's only taking care of the physical aspect of your body to be able to endure the job that you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't address what's happening internally hormonally.
Mm-hmm.
You're missing that one.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a good thing because you can't be out of shape, you can't be sloppy, you can't be fat and running, and doing what you're doing. You just can't. So
Mm-hmm.
all of those things are necessary tools. But at the same time, you should also be looking as to, okay, what can I do? What's out there? And it's like I said, I believe wholeheartedly because I've seen it in blood work in even 19-year-olds, what I've been able to do, that this is a good buffer. It's a stabilizer. So,
Is it similar to like ashwagandha? Because I know ashwagandha or
no,
KSM
ashwagandha
66.
is, yeah,
I've
no.
heard mixed reviews on that. Some people swear by it, but I've also
Mhm.
heard it's like it can mess up your mood and your gut for a long
Yeah,
term. I've
yeah,
heard that
yeah,
it
no.
doesn't long term. It's not a good thing to take. But I know it's supposed to be good for cortisol, right? It's supposed to like stabilize your cortisol a little bit, and that's
Well,
why they're
it
saying
helps to bring down the cortisol. You're
right.
absolutely right. High levels of cortisol are not good for your body at all. I
No,
mean,
Mm-hmm.
women will start losing their hair, men will start losing all kinds of things, bad things happen.
yeah, belly fat. They're going to start
Ashwagandha
storing.
is one of the few supplements that have been clinically proven to help lower those cortisol levels.
Mm-hmm.
Is
Sure.
that good for everyone? Um, Maybe not. But again, you're in a predicament because you don't want to suppress your cortisols
In the
when
morning.
you're doing, yeah, no, you don't want to think about it. You have to have that adrenaline for the body to
Mm-hmm.
do what it does.
Sure.
So if I pull the adrenaline and that's needed, now you're gonna mess something else up,
Mm-hmm.
So you have to, a retiree that has high cortisol levels, or the CPA during tax time that has high
Yeah.
cortisol levels, yeah, maybe, but I don't know that particular supplement is the right supplement for you guys. Would you be suppressing something that is really necessary for you to do the level and quality of job that you're doing?
Yeah.
Sure.
That would be
So
my thought process.
yeah, and I mean I've done whatever my research over the years, and I've just heard trends and all those things. Like there's say Huberman's real big in the Tonga Ali. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's
Mm-hmm.
one thing that he uses. There was Fiducia egregious or something like that. There's back in the day when I was in high school, it was tribulus. Tribulus was a big thing. Fenugreek is supposed to be one of the things. Boron, copper, zinc, magnesium, like these basic building blocks of what I've heard is what it kind of sets you up to, facilitate your own hormone response. I mean, our diet alone, you want to get into that again, is so lacking in just the micronutrients that are so important, all the vitamins and minerals, and lack of vitamin D that we have in our daily life.
I agree.
So like just those, we just talked about another part, but the foundation of what you have is just crap. If you're just eating processed food, staying inside all the time, like how much can you move the needle if you just get all the foundation when it comes to the vitamins that I just talked about, being active, being in the sunlight. There's even, science coming out with like grounding for inflammation, right? If you're chronically inflamed, there's a chance that your hormones will be disrupted.
Grounding sheets. Yeah.
Definitely.
So like when I say this, I asked you like, what are those out of that kind of list have you seen, or do you agree with any of those that can be something early that these guys can do?
Well, I put together my own, and it wasn't just grabbing something out of the air. Over the years, especially with younger individuals, there are a number of supplements that I have used to treat certain situations. Like with young women, singer-songwriters, that have a tendency to have higher levels of estrogen. They have pre-period acne. They'll have bad PMS. I found that, again, a fine line of buffering the estrogen for women helps resolve that. And this has been known for 20 years.
Right.
And that's a product called DIM, DIM. It's a long dimethyl. Yeah. Okay.
I've heard of DIM. Yeah.
Okay. So what I did was I took the conditions that are manifested through hormonal changes, the lower testosterone, the lower sperm count, the raising estrogen. And then what I did was I said, okay, I want to use those supplements that have clinical studies, clinical trials, like DIM. DIM has, I couldn't tell you
It's been around
how
forever,
many
hasn't it? Yeah.
Well, but clinical studies, and DIM's good for you. It's freeze-dried broccoli. I mean, it's known to fight cancer. I mean, Harvard has run clinical trials on DIM.
Surfalane, or what is the chemical?
Wait, I hate this word.
Cruciferous,
something like that vegetable. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm terrible with that. There's about 4. It's like DIM, dimethylthione. It's but so what this does is, and it took a long time, you take what causes the reduction, the adrenaline, the cortisol, all these things. You say, okay, what supplement that's good for you, that's good for your body, that is good for the immune system, has clinical studies that can push that estrogen down without being too much.
Too disruptive to everything else.
What supplement that has clinical trials that you can use that will increase sperm count? It's been clinically proven to do it. And what I did was I put all of these together in the right, and it took a while, to get the right balances and doses. And so you wanted enough to be effective, but not enough to alter.
Yeah.
There's that fine line.
Drop it too much.
Yeah, I can give you testosterone and I can raise the needle, and I can control that peak.
Yeah.
But we don't want to do that for a 25-year-old that's just starting out. We don't want to take him to that point. It's not good. But at the same time, as these things occur, the adrenaline and the cortisol, you want to take something that we know will minimize and keep it balanced out. Just, I won't know until 20 years from now, when they've been taking it for 20 years. They said, well, geez, he was right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, you don't
but
have the crystal ball yet. You
no,
just
no,
have
yeah,
intuition and all the time that you've had in there and seeing what the necessity is at this point.
yeah. But it's even like with myself. I do testosterone, and I do a testosterone, I do an estrogen blocker. I've been doing it for, like I said, 30 years. Actually, the estrogen blocker I didn't start till I was 50, so that's about 17 years ago because I didn't have high levels of estrogen. But one of the things I'm finding now, and with the guys that I've been working with, the first responders, is that even though that you're on the testosterone and the estrogen blockers, because of this adrenaline rush, it's a constant disruption pattern.
Right.
So yeah, we can do it, but you have this disruption. So by supplementing this on a daily basis, even while you're doing it, I will tell you, I've been doing it now for about 3 months, and it helps just giving a level. It keeps from that peak and valley. And again, we keep learning, and there'll be more things that we're going to learn.
Oh,
And I
sure.
hope that someday that we'll have some form of a simplified um, combination of a hormone that we know would help prevent firefighters from the end game of their hormones being so disrupted, after 15, 16, 17 years, really after 10 years. Anything
But
after 10 years is pretty
it
messed up.
it needs to start at the top though. Like basically the people that run the fire departments, right? Like because a 20 to 25-year-old, that's just going to be a struggle of like telling me when I'm 25, hey, this is what you have to do for when you're 50, because you're kind of living in the moment, right? At least that's how I
Right.
was. And a lot of firemen are like me. Um, So it's almost something that they need to be, it almost needs to be taught to us, right? It needs to be something that we learn in like our fire tech classes. There needs to be something on basically how we figure out like how we're going to stay healthy throughout our career, right? It talks about diet, it talks about exercise, it talks about hormones, it talks about like I actually have a whole outline typed up on my computer for a fire officer class
Yeah.
of basically teaching firefighters health and wellness, basically.
There should be a class of the longevity. It should be a firefighter longevity class.
Boom. I love the name. There you go.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Well, let me ask you, these young guys, they come in. I know most of them work out. I know most of them take supplements. Why? Because they know that it's going to assist them from a outward physical aspect. Okay, it's going to
Are you
help
saying
them.
aesthetics, right? Like look
Yeah,
good,
yeah,
look good.
right?
Well, not so
Perform.
much look good, but they know that, hey, I've got to carry
Right. I'm gonna build my
someone down
strength.
the ladder. Yeah, I got to carry somebody down. I got to have the muscle strength. I got to. Not only do I have to work out, not do I have this strength, but I have to be able to recover
Right.
from that as well. So they do that. I'm going to say probably 80, 70, 80% of them do that because you have to.
Yeah.
Now, okay. And I agree with you. When I was in my 20s, the last thing on my mind was anything doing with testosterone or the need for testosterone replacement.
Yeah.
Ask my wife. I should tell you the last thing I needed was testosterone in my 20s. So
Beating you
that's
off
a
with a
big
stick.
no. That's a big no. Yeah, yeah. So,
Yeah.
Bring her in
but
here. Is she home? I want to hear about it.
no, actually, she's up with the kids. So,
Cool.
but
I mean, there
yeah,
are
you're right. You need it. You really do need it.
and
But let me ask you. So, because I don't know this answer to this question. So, when they come in, do the younger firefighters know that the adrenaline cortisol is going to have effect on their body? Are they
absolutely
aware of
not.
that?
No.
No.
Okay, so that's
I
not
would
even.
say I'd say half the department doesn't know that
No.
right now, even our own
Yeah.
like seasoned guys.
Yeah.
Right? They're like, why am I tired? Why am I unmotivated? And they just think that's just part of aging.
How many guys have I sent to you from our
Yeah, I
department?
know. I know.
I don't know how many
let
you're
me.
seeing.
I couldn't tell you how many first responders I've dealt with in the course of my treatment, and they all come with the same issues, the exact same issues. And I can tell you right now, I've got some that have been with me 25 years. that they're
Yeah.
still, and they're doing fantastic. You know,
Cool.
a couple of me even older than I am now, a lot
Mhm.
older than I am. So uh, I wish I had an answer, guys. I wish I had a solution for you. You
No, I
know,
think everything that you're saying is somewhat of an answer. I think it's like Eric always like to say, moving the needle, right? I think the younger you can get them, the farther it's going to move that needle to where maybe it just pushes it off for a couple more years or whatever, right? Whatever
Yeah.
it is that you need. I'm not saying testosterone
yeah.
or just whatever it is that you're going to need. And at one point in your life, maybe it pushes that off.
And then
Yeah,
So
I think though that just as much of an epidemic and a problem that is, I think you guys also have a problem. And that is, I think you have a high percentage of your firefighters that are doing the treatment by themselves without any direction.
yeah.
And that's not good either.
Mm-hmm.
I will tell
no.
you, I just worked with a young man, oh, maybe 3, 4 weeks ago, firefighter. Been doing it on his own, never monitored any blood work,
Mm.
and never did anything with his estrogen. He was in deep need of estrogen blockers.
Yeah.
Okay, so um, that's just as much of a problem. They
Mm-hmm.
need to feel safe. They need to feel that they can talk to somebody that
Yeah.
is not going to be either on their record or used against them.
And I think these conversations are important to have it out in the air and talk about it more, so it's not so taboo anymore, and that somebody who's been doing it for decades now it's a good show that it's not going to have these adverse effects, and it shouldn't be looked down upon of somebody using steroids now and trying to do like these. It's not PEDs, it's not performance enhancing drugs. That's
No.
not what this is. This is optimization. This is basically trying to get you where you should be at. And like, to go back on the young firefighters and what we're trying to do now, we've got some new guys coming in, is starting good habits, because at 25 years old and you get in the fire service, you're piss and vinegar, you're going in, getting after it. You're also on the close to start getting in the whole drinking habit, right?
Oh
So
yeah.
like the amount of
Party
drinking
time.
that happens that comes into it
Yeah.
is bad, right? And that becomes a habit. And then that, 5-10 years of that with
Yeah.
not, then you're not working out like you used to anymore. So
Not
like
recovering.
not recovering, like, not sleeping all night, coming home, drinking, not getting good sleep because you drank,
Passing out. That's not
passing
sleep.
out. That's not sleep. That's poor sleep.
Yeah, right.
And then you stop working out like you used to as well. So it just
That
compounds.
belly.
It's not assisting or helping you in your hormones when you already have all these stressors at work. So like having that good foundation and saying like you need to prioritize sleep when you get home. That should be your number one goal, is to make sure that your sleep is just
Yeah.
on point and like not mess around with that. Having a few drinks here and there, again, I party with the boys just as much as anyone else. But as the older I get, I take more priority of taking care of myself. And that I wish I would have done it earlier. I wish I started that when I was 25 years old, where I was taking it a little more seriously.
Yeah, but that's tough though when you're young, right? Like, 'cause
Yeah,
right now I
hindsight's
basically
20/20.
have a schedule of like I basically set dates of drinking now. Like,
Yeah.
okay, this is when I'm gonna drink. Like here, I can drink this day on this month, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm not drinking. I mean, COVID was terrible. I drank
Yeah,
like
COVID was bad.
every night, I think.
Yeah.
I only drink on the days with an A in it. No, I'm
Amen,
sorry. Go
brother.
ahead.
No, but it's, because especially wearing this Whoop band, right? It's really opened my eyes to where alcohol, what it does to you, And then I also want to get on. I just started, TRT not too long ago, and which it's been great so far. My wife, she likes it, you know what I mean? No, but I've always kind of pushed it off, but my numbers eventually got down to, they were like 250. But on that, do you think, because I think myself and a lot of firemen and police and military guys out there, when I was in high school, I played sports, and where I was from, everybody's doing steroids. So what did I do? I took T4, DECA, multiple cycles in high school. Now, is that something that probably affected me now with my hormones. I mean, or is it so?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
No doubt.
yeah, yeah. Because I don't know what my numbers were. In my 20s and 30s, because I was 20 and 30.
No need to test
Why would I
them.
get tested, right?
Yeah.
But I do. When I started my functional health doctor about 10 years ago, I was on the medic. Was right when I got hired by Eldorado Hills, and my number was like 110. And
Oh, jeez.
so
Yeah,
he put
pretty
me
bad.
on for a while, but I was like, but still, I was like, kind of 10 years ago, right? I was like, oh man, testosterone's like kind of taboo. I'm gonna have a heart attack, um, and which is stupid, I know, but so I came off of it and basically got off the medic, and my levels returned right when I was getting better sleep, until this last year. So, but yeah, I mean, just the research I've done, totally doing that high of a dose of steroids in my teenage years definitely affected to where probably my
I
whole
believe
life.
it does. Of the
Yeah.
men that and women that I have dealt with that had prior steroid use, I have seen that. Now, does that mean it's 100%? No, but I will say 99% of everyone that has come to me in 30 years that have
Mm.
used steroids in the past, and I'm not talking one cycle. I'm not
Yeah.
talking, oh, I
Yeah.
tried it for 3 months. I'm talking the guy who for 3 years was on and off, on and off, on and off, 4 years during, the teens and the early 20s.
Yep.
Those are the guys that I see with
That's
issues.
me. Yep.
Primarily super high levels of estrogen.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like I said, you throw into that they're also smoking pot. Now their estrogens are way off the roof.
Yeah.
So, um, but I want to address one thing. You're talking about this testosterone. It really does. I still even see it today because I work with various people in various industries, and there's misconceptions.
Yeah.
It's kind of like talking to another guy about ED, you've got erectile dysfunction. I can't get it up. It's not something that you bring up to, your guys.
Not a
Sure.
conversation you have at the
Yeah,
bar.
no, 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 exactly.
Like,
So,
I'm just
yeah,
pushing rope.
yeah, it just, and I get it, I understand that, but it's like when ED meds first came out, nobody said anything about them. Now they become recreational, and the kids go, "Hey, you got any sildenafil? I
Yeah.
got a hot date tonight. You got anything on
Blue
you?
Chew,
Yeah,
like
I'm gonna
yeah,
show
Blue Chew.
her.
Yeah, okay."
I'm gonna
So
lie to her.
it took a whole it took a whole different meaning.
PEDs
And
right there.
yeah, what I see is, unfortunately, the stigma that was put on it is if you have to do testosterone, you're less of a man.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, if you got to do that, I mean, I don't need it. I still get it up all the time. I'm totally fine. Well, yeah, but do you understand that testosterone is responsible for just about every organ in the body? The
Yeah.
heart needs it, the liver needs it, the brain needs it. I mean,
Oh,
it goes on
absolutely.
and on and on and on. You have to have it.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe you get an erection every night, but that doesn't mean that your heart's surviving and everything else is. So
Yeah.
it got the bad rap. The other bad rap is, and I hear this all the time when new guys come to me and they say, well, I want to get on testosterone. And it's like, well, the misunderstanding or the misguided way of looking at it is, that in 6 months I'm going to look like Arnold Schwarzenegger, or I'm going to be leaping tall buildings in single bounds, or I'm going to be walking around like I was 14 with a perpetual erection. Well,
Yeah.
no, that's not what we do, and that's not how we do these
Right.
things. And you're right, there is a huge misconception. So,
Mhm.
uh, but I think, like with ED meds, I think with time, I think that's going to turn around. I think Bobby Kennedy, quite frankly, has brought it a lot around. Look at him and Pete doing the push
Yeah.
up, pull
Doing
up in 5 minutes.
pull-ups, and I love it,
Hey,
man.
So
Yeah.
impressive, right?
Yeah,
Guy's a
yeah.
stud.
At his
And
age
Bobby's
doing that?
70. Bobby's
Yeah.
70 or 71, something like
He's
that.
my hero. Yeah, I
And
love that guy.
yeah, so, and he does it. He's open about it,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I will say this. I'm seeing more and more younger men coming out saying, I think I need this.
Mm-hmm.
And this is just like within the last 6-8 months. So,
Yeah.
maybe, it's like with everything, there's a cycle for everything. And maybe this will also become one um, that will be like, the women who are going into menopause. They're not afraid to talk to their friends about it. Oh man, I've been getting hot flashes. I'm starting to change. It's no longer a taboo really with the women.
Yeah.
Where back in the day, you really didn't talk about it. Women didn't talk about that things. That was, something. So maybe, guys, I don't know. Maybe we'll get our act together and start, going, hey, it's just a fact of life. And with this job comes this side effect. And, you could do something about it or not,
I
So
but
love
it's
that. I
inevitable.
love that. That's
yeah,
great. I
yeah.
love that.
And then what I'm curious about too, because I know that once you go on TRT, your fertility can go down too, right? So like if you have these guys like you're talking about, they're a little bit younger, are there any ways to mitigate that going on? Or even like testicular shrinkage, right? Because like that's what happens. It's a endogenous, exogenous thing coming into your body, and your endogenous is not producing much anymore. So is there techniques? Is that something that you talk about when
Sure.
going into that?
It depends on the age of the individual. But yeah, there are things, again, like I said, what I develop helps with the sperm count. But, depending upon what you're doing, and again, I've helped a number of individuals. If you're doing testosterone, let me use a perfect example. The 55-year-old that got the divorce, that married the 30-year-old, now he's going to have kids again, and he's been on
Woo!
testosterone for the last 10 years,
Yikes.
Okay, go for
Don't
it.
do it.
Great for you. Very happy
Sure.
for you. Whatever. Okay, yeah. Is his sperm count down? Probably.
Yeah.
Does it have to be? No, not necessarily. Can you
Huh.
fix it? Yes, you can do HCG. HCG
Yep.
will help to reproduce, to build back up that sperm count. And but I literally have seen guys that have been on testosterone 15, 20 years still have kids,
Sure. And that's
So
that's why I want to ask you, because these are the things that I've heard.
Exactly.
Right.
Lied
I'm
to.
trying to dispel, or at least like you've been in the practice for so long. Like these, I want to know what you've seen on these topics that come up with it. Like to dispel or to educate on these are super important.
yeah, I personally don't take HCG. One, because I have a vasectomy, number one. So obviously, and that was many, 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 many years ago. Now, my wife's postmenopausal, but the individual that is looking to have it, first of all, I wouldn't do it for a young guy.
Sure.
If a guy comes to me that's 23 or 24, in fact, I've just had a few of them the last couple of weeks. They've come to me and they're low testosterone. I'm seeing a ton of it post-COVID and the vaccinations. Like young guys I've never seen before, and I'm talking levels in the 200 and 300s. I mean, really
Yikes.
low.
Yeah.
It should not be like
22 years old. That's
that.
that's scary.
Yeah, it's insane.
Get
So,
your vaccines.
but yeah. The problem is, I asked them, are you planning on having kids? Well, yes. Well, it's not that you can't have them. It's that if you already have a low sperm count, which we know that the vaccine and COVID can be a role in that, lowering the sperm count. Well, are we going to lower it even more? Possibly. I can't tell you. I don't have enough years under my belt in the testosterone post COVID to tell you how that's going to impact the overall sperm count. But I'm not, again, my philosophy is less is better, and whatever your body can do naturally is the best way to do it.
Cool.
But in that case, to answer your question, I would say that there are other things that you can do that during that period of time that could help rate, like HCG. HCG will raise these young men, and I put a couple of them on it, and it works great for them.
Is it clodipine? Is that another
well,
thing?
for women? Is it for women?
Clomid
For
will also
Clomid.
raise testosterone. Yeah.
Yeah.
For egg drops.
And that's okay. My preference for these younger guys is the HCG.
Yeah.
Very, very, very few side effects. Not going to affect the sperm count.
Doesn't it come
And
from it's like from pregnant women's urine? Is that where
well, that's
HCG? I'm trying to
yeah,
remember because like from school,
it is.
I got my degree in kinesiology and I remember that's a certain hormone, right? And I'm trying to remember where exactly it came from.
Well, it's not really a hormone. It's human. Here
Yeah,
we go again. You got
yeah, I used
gonadotropin. Go ahead.
no, I'm trying to remember it too. It's been a long time since I've
Yeah.
gotten to that.
I have no idea.
It's no, yeah. HCG is originally from the urine of a pregnant woman. When a woman gets pregnant, her HCG levels go through the roof.
Right.
That's how you test it.
Yeah.
But originally, well, it's used for two things. One is used for weight loss in both men and women, and the other is used as a sterility first step for men with low sperm counts. Bodybuilders used to use it when they would come off a cycle to kickstart their testicle. Yeah, to kickstart their testicles to start producing again. So,
it's been around
there
forever.
Yeah. Very safe drug. I would
Very
say
safe
this
drug.
is a very safe, no contradictions with any other medication. When you start getting into the Clomeds and some of those other ones,
Clomeds,
yeah,
I've
you
heard
can
that's
have
a little...
some contradictions. So, yeah, I mean, those are all things that what I tell a lot of the men, especially post 50, is it's more of a aesthetics. If you're afraid of the testicular atrophy and you'd like to continue to, have larger testicles, then yeah, you can use it, but it's purely aesthetic at your age. There's no
Right.
other reason really to be doing that. So at
Got
this
a buddy
point,
could probably use some testicle shrinkage.
Yeah, we got two of them.
We got two of them at the department. Like, geez,
We finally got to see both of them side by side.
they're very impressive.
Bigger. Yeah.
And one was a clear winner.
Yes, clear winner.
Yeah, the HCG will do that to you. Trust me, that'll definitely do that to you.
It'll bounce them up.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's man, this has been very informative. Like this is you're like, that's what I love about these conversations, is dispelling a lot of stuff, a lot of myths, and bringing more knowledge, clinical decades that you've been doing and seeing firsthand, right? Because there's people can talk about what's in a book and say what right.
Who wrote the book, right?
Yeah, who wrote the book? Did they actually were in the field, or was it just a bunch of studies that they went off of, right? But they actually have somebody who's many years in, and then obviously walks the walk too. I mean, look at you now. You look like you're in amazing shape at 67. That I heard
67. Yeah,
67. Yeah, you look fantastic.
Damn.
So yeah. Like that's, I think that's
20-inch arms, dude.
Every fireman wants to stay in shape. We work so hard. We go through all this stress. When it comes to physical, if it comes to mental, all these things, we sacrifice so much, and we love it. We love to do it. Like we love our job. We love helping our community. We love doing the things that we do, and it takes a toll, and people don't see that either, right? They don't see what the job does to us. Mm-hmm. And for us,
even ourselves, we don't see it, right?
We don't see it. We turn a blind eye forever. We deny it a long time. But we do have this.
I have to say that's all part of your guys' makeup, man. You're
sure.
selfless. You're the ones that are running into the building while everybody else is running out. So that is, your makeup, your DNA. Like go back to that bull rider. You don't grow up. I don't believe. Some of these kids do, but they grow up and want to be a fireman. I think it's just wired in you. And,
it's a certain type of person, that's for sure.
Yeah.
You just see certain personalities just gravitate towards that profession.
We've had a lot of interns who are like, you should probably go back to college and do something else, which is a tough conversation to have with these 20-year-old kids, but it's the right one, because they're not cut out for it.
Well,
So,
that's what I say. You have to be wired for it. And
mhm.
again, when I look at treating first responders, especially ones that have been doing it for 5, 7, 10 years or longer, you have to look at them differently. I'm sorry,
Mhm.
but you just do. You have to look
Yeah.
at them differently. So, anyway,
Well,
but
and it, um, we want to look like you is what I was basically getting at. Is when in
oh,
our
thank you,
retirement
thank you.
and enjoy our retirement. Like we get this great retirement and pension and all these things, and we work for it. But if we can't use it, if we
Yeah.
can't enjoy it, then what's
The,
it's a bummer, right?
the life after retirement has gone up a lot, but not enough. Not even
Yeah,
close.
There
yeah,
might be something to say that they don't want us to live very far after
Yeah.
retirement because it
Costs a lot of money.
costs a lot of money.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
And then what are you able to talk about this proprietary blend, or is this like a
I would be happy to. I just don't. This is your guys'
No,
podcast.
pip
I
it
do
out.
Oh,
not want to.
absolutely.
Yeah,
Pip
I
it out.
don't.
I'm
I
on
don't
it.
want to.
I like it. I've
No,
been on
Yeah,
it for last month.
yeah, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
there you go. In fact, I just had, and this is again another firefighter captain that got his blood work done, super low testosterone. And I said, Here, I'm going to throw you a bottle of this stuff. Try it. And he texted me, and I kid you not, he's been on it now for like 2 weeks. He just texted me last night or the night before, and he goes, Larry, I got my mojo back. What's in that thing?
Cool.
Yeah,
What a
I
great
baby.
feeling. That's
I
a good
said,
My
feeling.
mojo.
good. Yeah, but it's very mild. You could actually, it's called Alpha Balance,
Okay.
and you could actually read the whole story of how I came about it. It's 15 years in the making,
Mhm.
Sure.
and clinicals and blood work, and it's alphabalance.com. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
you can go there and take a look at it. Um, and my hope is that somehow we can communicate to all of the first responders that there is an answer out there. You don't have to try and do it yourself. You don't have to be afraid of it. You don't have to hide it, because we can do it the right way, and we can
Mhm.
do it the safe way. And, I wish I could share with you how many times people have thanked me for changing their life, changing their outlook on life, first responders,
Mhm.
and so anyway, I really do wish that there was more focus and attention on the occupational hazards from a internal hormonal and psychological aspect with first responders. They don't do it.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, hopefully that what we're doing here can at least get the conversation going a
Yeah.
little bit. I mean, that's kind of the goal. We saw a need and we just kind of created this
Well,
little
Yeah.
listen,
thing.
guys.
Hopefully we
Yeah,
can touch enough people on the show. It's
Yeah.
a lot of work to get it out there on all the social platforms and stuff. It's a lot of
But
meticulous hours, but
if you reach one person and change one thing, like that's worth it, right?
yeah.
Like,
yeah. Well, I can tell you, I have a number of first responders. I've talked to probably 5 or 6 of them, and these are from all over the country. And I said, "Oh, I'm going to be on this podcast," and they go, "Oh, can you send me the link? I'll share it with everybody."
Cool.
oh
So
hell yeah.
I'm very happy. So if you send me whatever you can, I will get this out and distribute it through all of the networks that I have,
Cool.
and or Hollywood. I
Yeah.
have a number of individuals there too that I think would be very happy to promote, because
Nice.
Awesome.
they're those kind of guys.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just trying to
Braveheart.
get the
Mel
good word
Gibson.
out. This was we talked about in our why. We want to help everybody as much as possible, like give them the resources. It's kind of the conversation we had before, kind of weed through all the BS that's out there and talk to professionals that have been doing it for a long time, and that's their passion. Like, right, you wake up, what gets you up every morning is the ability to make a change in somebody's life, right? I mean, how many years have you seen people turn around because you've assisted them with some hormone replacement or among other things, advice just in general,
Yeah.
right? Like
Right.
there's a lot of satisfaction that comes from seeing people change for the better, right? Like that's some good work.
Oh, well, yeah, thank you for that. I appreciate that. And it's, it's really not a job to me. I love doing what I do. And,
Right.
any time that you would like me to elaborate more or talk more about, a different subject in this field, this is really only my specialty. But I can go down peptides. I can go down, the growth hormone. Again, I wish it was more affordable for a lot of
Yeah.
you guys, especially for, all of the oxidation that you guys come into on a daily basis. But
Yeah, let's do that. Let's have a conversation about GH peptides. They're hot right now.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to know about them.
Yeah, there's all kinds, like glutathione. That's another thing that I've kind of
yeah.
looked into.
Yeah, I'm big on
Yeah,
glutathione.
detox.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm big
I
on
supplement that
glutathione.
every day.
Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's really important, and I think we could talk forever about it, but we'd love to have you back. This has been a fantastic conversation, and
Great.
I've learned a tremendous amount from you. So
Me too.
Yeah, appreciate that.
Thank you.
You guys are very welcome. Again, be safe out there. I know you're coming into this Labor Day weekend. Memorial Day? We're Memorial Day, right?
Labor.
Labor. Oh,
Yep.
yeah. So you get old. The body's there, the brain's gone. What can I say?
Well, we never know what day it is. We just know when we go back
but
to work.
I know it's going to be a busy one for you guys. So you guys all be safe out there. Take care, and
Thank you.
Please do send me the link, and I'll share it with all the people that I have.
Cool.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Larry.
Don't quite hang up yet. All right. It's got to upload a couple more %. All right.
Okay.
We'll send you a text if it uploads.